Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Lawsplaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. And how are you all? I am so happy to be back. I am not happy that every time I turn on Streamlabs, my camera goes back to autofocusing. Just decides to. But let me fix that real quick. I tell you what. I was, of course, at Anime Matsuri over the past several days. That's the first thing we're going to talk about today, which will be my absolute novice con-goer review of Anime Matsuri. And I'll talk about the people and what I experienced. I'll show you what I got. Got some stuff. And I got some stuff from some... Oh my goodness. What there? Oh yeah. Here we go. All right. I got some stuff from some vendors. Of course, so many people were very generous and brought me little things. And I'll show some of those off. I've got the stack of like pictures and art that I got. That I purchased or was given or both. And so I wanted to show those things and show the vendor cards of the people who I saw. Many of them were fans. And so, you know, my fans support me and I try and support them back. And so the least I can do is show their work and show their cards, right, to you guys. And then you'll have them if you want. If you didn't get a chance to see them at the con or whatever, yeah. So that's what we're gonna do in just a second. Real quick, check this out. This is great. courtesy of Short Round, my YouTube lawyer intoxication and litigation shirt is there. So thank you, Short Round, for that. I really appreciate it. But I had an absolute blast. An absolute blast at Matsuri. After we talk about Matsuri, that's when I'm going to do this in reverse order. Okay, what my plan was Matsuri and then legal documents that many of you have already seen, right? Many of you have seen these documents. And why do I keep... There's no one there. There's no one there with a gun. I am safe. I'm very safe and they're treating me well. I am definitely not broadcasting from the holding cell of United Airlines. I am at my home and comfortable. It is nice to be reunited with my family. So many of you have already read the legal documents, and that's fine. I'm going to go through those, but I told you there'd be more. So instead of going through the legal documents that you've already seen and clickbaiting you through the end of the show, which I would love to do, but I love you and I respect you. So I'm going to do the clickbaity. It's not clickbaity. This is new stuff that you don't know about. I'm 99% sure you don't know about this. So this will be new info. I'm going to hit that after we go through the Matsuri stuff, but before the documents that many people have already seen, just in case, you know, with the late hours that this show runs, if some people can get out of here without just having to review stuff, I will be happy to accommodate. So that's what we're going to do. Thank you all for coming back to watch after the long absence. It's always nerve-wracking, right? Having an absence from the show, because, you know, what if some other cool lawyer came out or whatever. Speaking of other cool lawyers, a bunch of people have talked to me to talk to Viva Frey. Viva Frey is a Canadian lawyer and a subscriber magnet, man. This guy's almost up to 100,000 subscribers. He's doing great. And people have told him to collaborate with me, and people told me to collaborate with him, and we are working it out. We're going to do a show very soon. I'm not sure exactly what topic we're going to talk about, but he did just have his Alex Jones deposition video removed by YouTube. So that seems like a good subject, and maybe one we could talk about very soon. But we're working on scheduling, so I will be hopefully collaborating with Viva Frey very, very soon, in the very near future. And then it'll be funny after he agrees to do a show with me and then researches me and finds out all the horrible things. So that'll be great. That'll be great. But anyway, so where to begin? If you look behind me, I'm probably not drinking tonight because I drank a lot at Matsuri, but there is the Texas Republic whiskey. We'll be cracking this bad boy open in the next day or two. If you saw my stream with Denise, and on the Anime Matsuri channel, but prior to the show, she pulled out big bottles of Texas blended whiskey, right? Not that kind, but the TX whiskey. And they had a lot of it for me, and I consumed happily. They're very gracious hosts, and it was wonderful. It's a very good whiskey, but I actually left my bottle in Houston with them, which makes me really sad. So, but I probably drank about. We're not going to talk about it. Okay, let's get into this. Let's talk about Matsuri. So, Anime Matsuri is my second anime convention. The first one I went to was Community, very gracious hosts, much different atmosphere. It was a much smaller convention. It was their first convention in Amarillo, and it was probably good to go there as a first experience. Matsuri is a whole different animal. The George Brown Convention Center in Houston is huge, and I know this specifically because I had to walk to and from the rave like twice, I think. And by the end of it, I felt like Moses bringing the Jews across the desert or whatever. I walked forever. And it's a huge venue. Now, that venue is great because it's so big. Even though there's so many people at Matsuri, it's not very crowded. It's actually really spaced out. I'll be anxious to see what their ticket sales indicate for numbers, but I mean, there are people all over the place, but you have room to walk and breathe. And I guess that's what happens when you have like a 2 million square feet to work with. You have place to put just about everything. And if you've ever been to Houston, driven past the George Brown Convention Center, you'll realize when I say they have all of it, just how much space that is. But there was much more to do at Matsuri. There were so many vendors. I did not get to see anywhere close to all of them. My wife was always with me, so I didn't go to the hentai one. Just kidding. But Artist Alley was crazy, and there's all sorts of different stuff. But the most surprising thing to me were just how many people recognized me and came up to say hi, shake my hand, take a picture. It was really humbling, and it was wonderful. Everyone was courteous to me. There were no fat ops or whatever from the gross cosplayer patrol. And I'm not all cosplayers, right? I'm talking about a specific crew who had their sadness convention at a local bar. By the way, how sad single womanish do you sound when you're like, hey guys, let's go have a chud hating party at a bar with the 4 of us who are around, and we'll just drink in our sadness at a tall table by ourselves. That sounds like so much fun. That was Whew, that was an effective counter protest. Hats off to Boycott Anime Matsuri for doing such an effective job of sulking alone in a bar. And I bet no one bought you a drink. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. So anyway, no one was impolite to me or anyone. I didn't see anyone be impolite to anybody. It was a positive community, positive attitude. The staff were all very gracious and wonderful. And all of the guests that I saw and met, I can't name all of them. But obviously I got to meet Vic, and Vic was very nice and gracious to me. Which was really that was kind of a special moment. And yes, no, we had never met in person prior to Matsuri. It's amazing. It's amazing. That was I thought that was clear, but that was another gotcha, I guess, that I had never met Vic in person in a physical proximity. So you got me. You got me. That was great. I got to meet and chat with Doug Jones. I got to meet and chat with the Godzilla guys. Due to the unfortunate circumstance they had of having their flights canceled, I got to meet them. Gosh, I got to meet so many interesting people who are all way more interesting than I am, at least to me. And that was a blast. And of course, I got to spend a lot of time with John and Denise. And I also got to spend a significant amount of time with the owners of HawaiiCon. And they're wonderful people as well. And I look forward to talking more about HawaiiCon and talking more with them. And I think you guys would love them. And if you have a chance, if you have the ability to go to HawaiiCon, I would strongly recommend it, because it's a convention and it's also on Hawaii, on Kona specifically, which is beautiful. If you've never been to Kona and you can make it, I would give it a shot. Lady Rackets and I will be attempting to go. Pretty sure we're going. Just have a few loose ends to tie up before we can. That said, what did I get? So I did go to a couple different vendors, and I got some things. So I got this. There's this vendor that does Lego minifigures, or has Lego minifigures. I got a little Broly. Actually, we got a bunch of different minifigures. They had all different kinds, but here's a little Broly one. This is Then and Now Pop Culture Collectibles. Here's their card. If you want to, like, you can screen cap that or whatever. They were nice people. They had the Lego minifigures, and they had tons from all over, like Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, all sorts of stuff. So that was cool. And I'm going to talk more about the con. Like, this isn't the end of it, but I want to do this right now while I'm thinking about it. Then we'll do some super chats and then back to con stuff and whatever. This was 777 Sprite Productions. These, look at this. Look at this little Saitama bead art, like the beads that you put together and iron. You iron them, and it flattens them out. I don't know which way is correct, but these are cool. My kids were making the bead art just the other day, and now I'm going to show them like what you can do with it. I didn't even think about this. This guy makes all sorts of characters. These are cool. So that is 777 Sprite Productions. I don't know if I can get this in focus. Anyway, you can probably just find 777 Sprite Productions on Google, because I think the other text is too small to read. But that guy was super nice, very, very cool. Next, I got this picture of Serenity. This is cool. This is from Wolf and Skull Designs. I got to see him on the very last day. This guy So he does Japanese watercolor art of samurai and stuff like that. It was blowing my mind. Very awesome. Check out his stuff. He also does streams on YouTube that you can check out, where he talks about art and the different styles that he does, and he does a bunch of different art. He also does like custom woods and stuff. He's cool. Huge donation of the GoFundMe by the farms. I'll check it out in just a second. And then finally, Scribbles. This is Renee Wise, Scribbles. I'm going to show you her card first because I'm not going to go through all the pictures I got. I got several from Renee. It was really great to meet her. And look at this. So this is a Ninja Turtle, obviously Michelangelo, that she did. We've got a Voltron, one of the Voltron guys here. But let me show you the one. Lady Raggets picked out a whole bunch of these to get, which is for us and our kids. But I'm going to show you the one I picked out first because it's my favorite, and I think it's really cool. Hold on. Here we go. I'm going to get this one framed up in the office soon. This is Spawn. Pretty intense Spawn there. So Renee's art is fantastic. Also, it does a lot of these relief, not relief, but you know the negatives. I don't know. You got Jack from Nightmare Before Christmas. So these are just fantastic, just top quality art. And anyway, that's from Renee. And I've got one more thing to show, of course. And this is, I got Vic to do a thing. I got Vic to break his policy. Vic does not sign chests, right? Because, you know, that's just not in his character to do so. Despite what some people may say. It's so frustrating because the man actually is a man of character who does not do these things. But Vic, well, I should say Vic used to have a policy of not signing chests, but I got him to break it. And I'm going to show you how. In 2 easy steps. Click on my YouTube video. Oh my goodness. I am being bested by tape. By flipping tape. Okay, here we go. So this is, I have not assembled it all the way. This is a gift to me from Blaine. Blaine20. You see him in the chat. And then I got Vic to sign the chest of Broly. Right there. So that's pretty cool. I still have to finish putting him together. But you know, it's this one. It's this one. Here you go. That's Broly. So he will be assembled and will take a residence somewhere in the background there. But all in all, that's the majority of my haul from Kamehacon. I did get several other gifts, and I will show those, you know, over the thing. I did get a wristband. I love Vic Mignogna, hashtag no homo, and I stand with Vic. So very, very fun. Okay. Now there are a bunch of super chats, and my policy is, you know, of course, to address those as soon as possible. And let's do that right now. Let's do that. Then we'll talk a little bit more about Matsuri. I will clarify the event, the big event that happened right at the end. That some people there's some misunderstanding of what had happened, and I'll tell you the story as I understand it, and the story as I understand it comes from, you know, the people involved. So we'll talk about that in just a minute as well. But first, Austin W says, "Hey Nick, thanks for re-signing my badge on the last day. I was happy to, buddy. I was also the guy who brought the whiskey for the fans. I don't know. Oh yeah, awesome. Yeah, a guy brought me after the panel. A guy brought me a cup of whiskey, which was great. I don't know whiskey, but I asked for the expensive one. I hope it wasn't bad. No, it was great, and it was perfect. It was perfect. To have that whiskey then, because I don't think I had any yet. And then Austin W says, one more thing. Thank you for being a leader to us. Many of us had the desire to support Vic, but didn't know what to do. You gave us the information in the GoFundMe to help support him. It means a lot. Thank you. I got a lot of this sort of commentary at the convention. And, you know, I didn't set out to be the leader of anything. I set out to help. And that's what I like to do. And I hope that is happening. And I hope it continues to happen, right? That's what I want. Oh, by the way, to be very clear, my goal is to help Vic. My goal is not to help the feelings of other voice actors or actresses as they were. My goal is not to help garbage convention owners or runners like Shane, for example. No desire to help him or to do what they think is right for the community. The people who have actually split and divided this community by calling their fans sexists, racists, garbage people, incels, those people you don't get deference with me. And you certainly can tell me all day exactly what you want me to do. And I will do the exact opposite because you people are trash. Absolute trash. So yes, please tell me how much better it would be for everybody if I just got quiet and went away and let the lawsuit take its course in the background over the next year or two. Please keep telling me how much better it would be for Vic if he were to just have let you stomp him into the dirt and let everybody forget he existed as a rapist. Because that's the narrative that you guys put out, right? I didn't do that. You did. You got him removed from conventions. You got him fired from Funimation. You slandered his name. You did. I didn't do that. You told his fans that he was garbage. You told his fans that they were garbage. You told your own fans, because the few that you have, you stupid people, you told them that they were garbage. You told your con attendees that they were terrible. Oh my God, you're the worst business people on the planet. And I hope that your reward is commensurate with your efforts, because that would be the greatest thing that could happen, right? And I think you might be feeling that sting a little bit. So no, I will not do what you ask. I will continue to help Vic. And I thoroughly believe that what I'm doing is helping him as he keeps getting booked. And you aren't booked as much. How unfortunate is that for you? Anyway, but I really didn't set out to be any sort of leader. Just here to help. Help a guy that I thought was put into an impossible situation that I still to this day, I have not seen anything to suggest that that Vic deserved the treatment that he got from his alleged friends or from other parts of the community. And I think we're finding more and more the community waking up to who's on the right side of this. Let's see. Diablo says, "Hey Nick, miss hearing you rant and putting Kick Vic in their place over the past week. For all the non-believers out there, can you tell us how it was meeting Vic and tell us your impressions you got from him?" Meeting Vic was great. I've talked to Vic quite a bit, but meeting Vic was something completely different. The main thing was seeing how he interacted with other people. I had an idea of how he would interact with me. I didn't know. But seeing how he interacted with everybody else, with signing signatures all day and having to having to stop the signature line to go do a panel, which I know was very frustrating for people who had been waiting, but you know, that's how it worked out. Seeing him make accommodations, seeing him after the show, stopping as just person after person would come up to him in the hotel area or hotel lobby and ask for a picture or whatever, and him just do it because that's who he is. It was really crazy. My impression of him is the same as it's been or better, I guess. But I've yet to see evidence that he's done anything he's been accused of doing. And I've yet to talk to anybody important who thinks it's true either. So there's that. No, but meeting him was great. Sitting around smoking cigars and just relaxing and unwinding from everything was nice. And not talking about this, talking about everything else was really cool. Patrick Thompson. I don't understand why those two other lawyers are so addicted to the case all of a sudden. They're not. I'll explain. Don't they have better things to be doing? No, they don't. Welcome back, Nick Buddy. I missed the streams, but now you're back. We go into Flavor Town. Okay, here's the other lawyers, and this is simple, okay? And this is why largely I have stopped responding to them. Many times I want to, but there's no point, right? Because what they're doing is what lawyers do. They pick out parts of the case or the information that they find favorable to their position, and they rail on it over and over and over again. And they'll tell you things like this can't be defamatory. It's never defamation. It's never defamation. And it's always partly true, right? I'm not going to call these lawyers liars. And again, I said this a long time ago. When you've got another attorney talking about something, you never disregard or discount their opinion. You address it and assess it and make sure you're right. Or that you think they're right. And it's funny that a couple things are funny. It's funny that people think that a lawyer disagreeing with another lawyer about the law has any value at all. I don't know if you guys know this, but very often, I'd say in 99% of cases, lawyers disagree about facts or law that are presented. At least cases that don't settle immediately. When lawyers get involved on each side, there's disagreement. It's kind of part of the business. So to have a set of other lawyers disagreeing, okay, that's fine. They can disagree all they want. And I'm not going to go into the thing about qualifications or whatever. I'm not a Texas lawyer. I don't do a lot of, I've not done a lot of practice, right? Especially in defamation. I've handled defamation matters. I've not taken a defamation case to trial. I would question how many of those lawyers have taken a defamation case to trial, but I would assume many of them have handled defamation matters. This is fine. But I'm not getting into qualifications. That doesn't really matter, because in almost every state, passing the bar means that under the rules of that state, you are competent to take pretty much any case. That's how it goes. What I'll say is this. They're dealing with less than the full story. They're not talking about trial strategy or overall case strategy because they don't know about it, I guess. I don't know. Or they just don't want to talk about that aspect. So they're focusing in on the lot on some very specific law, and they're talking about winning on a motion for summary judgment or winning on the TCPA. Well, if only someone would have filed the TCPA, we could have seen how that would work out. But instead we got discovery games, and now we have an extension on the TCPA, right? So we'll find out. I guess it's possible that Ty is wrong, that his filings are deficient, that his legal argument will not be sound. I'm going to suggest that that's probably not the case, and that Ty's team is very competent and has put together a petition that is sufficient, and that when a TCPA counter motion, or when a memorandum opposed to the TCPA motion is created and an affidavit is created along with that, that's when particular facts get to come out that aren't put in the pleadings. It's not required. There's a case out there that really casts doubt on a lot of what they were saying about the sufficiency of pleadings. There's a case that addresses the clear and specific language, which many people are confusing with clear and convincing. Clear and convincing evidence is an evidentiary standard. Clear and specific is not. And so there's a case from the Texas Supreme Court that deals with that, and I'll probably be going through it at some point in the future here. But let me just suggest that they're all very confident in something that they're overstating. So there's that. But we'll see, right? This is why it's not profitable to really argue on Twitter with other lawyers about it. Is one, they're picking their points, they're sticking to them, and they're knowledgeable on the law. Two, they don't care about this case. They care very much about the fact that they're getting interaction on social media that they never got before. And I'll leave it at that. Look at their likes. Look at the likes on their posts, and you will see this is more than they normally get. More attention than they normally get. So, of course, they will keep funneling it. That's what Twitter's about, right? Grow attention. All right. So, that was a long response. I'll pick it up. Blaine20 says in SNL host voice, "We're live from Houston. It's Tuesday night." There you go. I don't know if that was good or not. Blaine20 says, "Lol, Nick, why are you using green screen and CGI background image of the vault? Ron has already called you out for being Ty's employee and Vic's lawyer from that one smoking gun photo." How's the weather in Tyler? Humid. No, again, this is the interesting thing. Here's how you defeat agency arguments. Again, I am not Vic's lawyer. I'm not Vic's employee. I am not Vic's agent. I'm not Ty's lawyer. Wait, why would I be Ty's lawyer? I'm not Ty's employee. I'm not Ty's agent or anything like that. I'm not acting on behalf of them. I'm acting on behalf of me. And that's great. I'm my own boss. And I will... Man, I don't ever want to change that. I really don't. So, yeah. Emmy Fire in hashtag intern Chan says, "Nick, it was wonderful to meet and hang with you. You're an amazing person." Well, thank you. "Sorry, but not sorry for the attack of the jelly beans and the kidnapping of your wife with the jelly beans. Keep up the good work." Yes, weaponized jelly beans were flying everywhere. CC Rio says, "Hi, Nick. I'm the girl who introduced herself as anonymous at Anime Matsuri. After this weekend, I realized removing Vic from cons was never about safety for Kick Vic. It was always about isolating him from his biggest supporters." Yep, it really is. It really is. Real Spider Phantom says, "On time and pansexual. You met face to mask. Was there a knife fight?" Was there a knife fight? No. No, there was no knife fight. Machete fight, yes. Mr. DJ Fly High says, "Hey Nick, have you heard about the recent Rooster Teeth news? Also, given how these news and bombshells have come out with, will this help Vic's case in terms of discovery? Also, do you find the timing a bit too convenient?" So this is the Glassdoor reviews of Rooster Teeth. I have heard about them. I've not read through them. There's also, Glassdoor reviews of Funimation really dumping on how these companies are run, right? Because I'll maintain that they're not run like businesses because they're not run by business people. So, there you go. There you go. Black Dawn says, "Talk about the gay ops Discord Jamie Markey was running with Dominique Sky, Jesse Thoughtmore, and other notable Kick Vickers." I'm away for the fun stuff, right? I have not had time to go through what's in that Discord, but I don't know. Maybe those are deposition questions. What's your involvement in this Discord? When did it start? What did you talk about? You coordinating things? Because coordination, if there's a tort involved, kind of sounds like civil conspiracy. So I don't know. But it is sure interesting that they had a server coordinating stuff. This is why, right? This is why they think that there's like some server coordinating stuff on our end, is because they have one. Look to their accusations and you will find what they're doing, because they are incapable of considering the possibility that other people act differently than they do, right? Projection is the method of these types of people, and they just look for their accusations and you'll find out what's happening on their end. Blaine20 says, I coined a new motto for Anime Matsuri at George R. Brown Convention Center. If you wish to lose a few pounds, go looking for someone. Yeah, no kidding. Blaine20 says, follows up and says, where did it go? Bring Tim and Steph on the stream to shill HawaiiCon sometime. Oh, don't be prescient. I would love to. Tim and Steph are adorable. And yeah, I'll be talking to them about that as HawaiiCon approaches. Not a Name says, man discovers easy method to defeat tape. Boomers hate him. Zero the Slayer says, I know I'm derailing a little bit with this question, but oh my God, did you see Oberlin College get absolutely dunked by the court? Absolutely called out on malice and active participation. It sure is interesting, right? Sure is interesting how that happens. A lot of people are looking at that case going, I can't see, how is that defamation? How's that malice? Juries don't always agree with lawyers. Corporate Savagery says, it was awesome that I finally got to have that drink with you and the unexpected Vic visit. Weird finding out we were neighbors on the third night. Got a bottle of Lagavulin and it's just as delicious as Saturday. Yeah, buddy. Enjoy it. Blaine20, wow, thanks, buddy, for the big one there. Says, I met Vic at and away from Anime Matsuri. I saw the kindest, most gentle man I've ever met before in my 38 years on Earth. #doxed. He is a highly attentive and very patient listener. Makes you feel as though your awkwardness isn't awkward. He genuinely comforts you when you are sad. He really does. And then finally, Aztec01 says, Vic made everyone feel they were the single most important person in the world. Watching him in action, I see why he's so genuinely and deeply loved by his fans. Yes, and cons would do well to take note of just what Vic does. Because there's a reason people keep showing up for Vic. In many cases, the same people who were at a previous convention this year or last year. There's a reason for it. It's because people connect with him. He doesn't treat them like they're money. He treats them like they're a person. And he talks about, you can hear him talk in his panels about responsibility and calling. And that was something that he discovered in his career, was that he felt called to be with people where they are, or however he phrases it. And you can see it. You can see it in the interaction that he gives, and it's something different than what many other people do. So that's that. All right. Some other thoughts about Matsuri. For the Fans panel was great. I have not watched the video of it. I heard the stream got some boomer action. I will tell you, I was not physically involved in that, but I'm sure it was rubbing off on them. I'm sorry that we didn't have a mic for the questions. That was kind of like, I guess that was an oversight on my point, because I guess it was my panel, I suppose. So maybe I should have asked for a mic for questions. I didn't even think about it. I'm sorry. And the dumb thing is, I did contemplate taking questions, but I didn't know how many people were going to be there. Of course, I didn't get a head count, but it was a lot of people at that panel. Great reception from everybody. I hope you got to see some of that video. I think Tug had the uncut video from a phone. So maybe I don't know if Tug and Hirohei both had it, but I've heard that there is video out there of it. So hopefully you can catch the panel if you missed it, or if you missed part of it due to the issues from the live streaming. But definitely check it out. I thought it went really well, and yeah, things were fantastic. Other than that, I did go to the Maid Cafe. Little awkward. Went to the Butler Cafe. Very awkward. Both of them were fun experiences, I guess. they're a little bit weird. But it's interesting to see the differences in culture and what people are putting value in. You know, they brought in maids and butlers from Japan, and their productions, right? This is production. And what production from a different culture looks like in a specific context, right? They were great. I got to go see the cars. Itasha, I think, are the cars. Got to meet a bunch of the guys who have these cars and put so much time and effort into them. That was really cool. Let's see what else. Oh, I got to meet the little. They're not as little anymore, but the girls who voiced the younger Anna and Elsa were there, and it was weird because they're like 15 now, or whatever. That was Frozen was like 5 years ago. They were very gracious and signed a bunch of pictures for my kids, which was great. And yeah, I don't know, just the whole thing was such a production, and I feel like I only got to see about 30% of it. A lot of people ask me if I'll go back next year. I would love to. I don't know. It'll depend on timing and logistics, of course. But I will say again, one final time, that John and Denise were extremely gracious hosts. They were wonderful. They were helpful and accommodating. And they gave me a lot of whiskey, which was nice. And I may have killed a piñata. I may have killed a piñata at their party. So, but it deserved it, to be fair. It did deserve it. So that was great. Okay. Should we talk about some other stuff? Oh, there's Siren Jag says, don't forget that all these drive-by lawyers lie. I caught Akiva Cohen deleting his tweets from the 6th when he said that he hadn't read the case and he wasn't going to get into it because family was more important. Then he lied and denied it. There you go. I don't know anything about that, but that's apparently what Siren Jag says. Like I said, I don't know. People are free to comment on this. Oh, I'm supposed to address a video of me. There's a video which is a cut of all my or not of all, of many of my streams and rants. They cut my rant and then they put it side by side with Vic saying, you know, don't be a bully. Just kidding. I'm going to work on my Vic impression for you guys because I think I can do a pretty good one. But not right now. He's saying, don't be a bully, be known for something good. And that's great. That is great. And I think Vic's advice is wise. And that Vic's guidance on counsel on that is wise. Thank God that he's not in charge of my show. Because, like I said, I'm my own boss. Probably always will be. And yeah, I run my show the way I want. And if you want to call me a bully because someone falsely accused someone else of being a rapist, a predator, and a child molester, and I called them a dummy a whole lot and said, get sued or eat a jelly bean or something like that, if that makes me a bully, saying that I hope you lose your lawsuit and I hope you have to pay Vic's fees and I hope a whole bunch of funny things happen and I hope that you reap what you sow and I hope that your division of the community is going well for you. If that makes me a bully, fine. I was a bully before. I'll be a bully again at some point in my life. And I can be a bully now if that makes you sleep at night. Because otherwise I don't know how you do. Because you're terrible. Yeah. So again, people will say what they want. They can take clips and they can splice them together. I don't care. You can go watch them in context, draw your own conclusions, and sometimes you need a little bit of fire. You need a little bit of fire to get the meal cooked, right? Not everything's a salad. Sometimes you want a steak. Are these metaphors working? I don't know. Oh, also there's like a leaked private conversation where I said that all of the malicious stuff was on the I Stand With Vic's side and that I'm just riling people up. Both of those are obvious misreads of what was going on, and to present them that way is very disappointing. That the person who I was having a civil conversation with would go ahead and do that. No. I can see when you open a statement with my perspective is this, and someone responds with I can see that. Well, I can see your perspective. That doesn't mean I agree with that perspective or endorse it. I don't. When you say that it kind of looks like things are you're just trying to rile people up and get people excited, and that I don't think that that's right, and then I say, well, what if someone thinks that is what you need, right? What if someone does think that getting people interested and engaged and giving them an opportunity to take and process their emotions and channel that into something to help the person that they find to be wronged, right? This is the greater context of that line, which I thought was implicit in what was said, but maybe not. A lot of people, well, we had a chat earlier, right? That said, thanks for being a leader. I didn't know what to do. Talk to imagine being in a business, being a voice actor, and part of that business, a big part of that business, is going and interacting with fans and then suggesting that their feedback to you doesn't matter, that their feedback to you isn't worth anything, that their feedback to you as a person whose entire career, your income is based on how you deal with other people, and for them to have criticisms of you and you to take that criticism and say, well, you're an incel, or you're a bigot, or we saw it in comics, video games, everywhere. You're seeing it everywhere. That's what my panel was all about, where they're taking the people who are buying the product and telling them how awful they are. And me saying, my counter to that is, well, maybe people do need a place to focus the feelings that they get from that, right? How do I change this industry? How do I change this outcome that I don't like? Here's a GoFundMe. Here's a GoFundMe with a clear purpose. Here's what we plan to do with it. That's all. So if that's riling people up, great. I noticed he didn't post the part where I said, you know, it'd be kind of cool if there was a time for things to cool down a little bit. He kind of left that one out, but you know, and then they brought in some other lawyers to rile people up. I mean, the lawyers accidentally happened upon this. What am I saying? They didn't bring in people to get people riled up and to rally their side and to give someone direction. No, only I would do that. No one else in the world would be thinking of how do we process what we're dealing with and focus it towards a common end. No one on earth could figure that out. Only me, apparently. So these random group of lawyers randomly saw things from randomly definitely associated people, tagging them specifically and asking them to comment all on the same day. But it was random that happened. They're not trying to rile people up. They're not trying to cause confusion or rifts in the community. They're not. Just me. Just me. So there's that. Couple quick questions and comments. Blaine20 says, please follow and support at Anime Matsuri and at Trinity Reloads, who's Denise, on Twitter, and Anime Matsuri on YouTube. Yeah, I can't speak enough of how great everybody was. Oh, and I got to talk about the incident. I'll do that in just a second, and then we'll move on to the stuff, the juice, the meat, the new stuff. Sink your teeth into the ribeye or whatever. Dustin Fitzfar says, did you practice the little-known courtroom defense of that pinata needed killing? I did. Automata says, here's a literal quote from the Discord leaks. It's nice to actually coordinate. And then Jamie responds, I know. Also, Chapter 13 stream when? I think I need some of the details on that law explained to me. Oh, don't. No. I don't want to do that. That'd be rude. Blaine20 says, Kyle, Vic's handler, and consensual hug proxy thanked all of us who put out the corrected information regarding the incident with the line jumper. Please, everyone, be careful with putting incorrect info on Twitter. Blaine20 says, 2 out of 2. Please keep discussion of events and theories to private channels. Thank you. There you go. Here's what happened. Okay, here's the full story as best as it can be determined at that event. The event that happened 1 hour before closing. So, backstory on this is Vic's line is perpetually huge. Okay? Despite the pants that he's wearing. Not sure how his line is so big with pants that look like that, but Vic's line is a huge queue, long waits. I talked to someone who waited 5 hours for a signature. I'm sure that was not a unique experience. But huge queue the whole time. When Vic had a panel coming up or when the floor was about to close, like an hour out, what they would try to do is count out a number of people, estimate where that would be, and cap the line and say, look, if you're beyond this point, we don't know that we're going to get to you before the next thing happens. So there's 1 hour left in the convention, and they cap off Vic's line. This is 3 p.m. on Sunday, roughly. Okay? 3 p.m. on Sunday. And they count off 60 people or so. Figure about a minute a person. And they say, beyond that, we're not going to be able to get everybody in. So there's the line of remaining people. And then an individual came up who may have been a little intoxicated. We're not sure on that. I can't 100% confirm that. That is the perception of, because I'm not that guy, right? But that is the perception of some of the people around. May have been intoxicated. Now, the way this is laid out is there's a table for merchandise and then Vic. So there's the line lines up to the merchandise table. People go by, they can pick up merchandise, pay, go over to Vic and get it signed. So then the time at Vic's table with Vic is one-on-one. There's not a line of people behind you. The line of people is over there, and it gives probably a more personal interaction. So that's the layout. Now, this guy came over to the side where Vic's table was and not where the line was, and may have mistakenly thought that meant there was no line for Vic. So he wanted to walk up to Vic and get an autograph. Okay? And Kyle is Vic's assistant, and he stepped up and said, I'm sorry, Vic's got a line over there. Vic's got a line over there, and we actually had to stop the line because there won't be enough time to get to anybody else than who's in the line. So I apologize, but we can't accommodate you. I'm sorry. And then the guy stayed there. He didn't do anything. He wasn't hostile. He wasn't yelling. There was some thoughts that he might be trying to do some sort of assault or throw something. No indication of that. He was just there. And when you've got two people at a table here, and then one person like 5 feet away, kind of just in the space, makes things awkward for Vic. It makes things awkward for the person. And Kyle's not able to do his job because he's managing this person. So Kyle asks the guy to leave. He doesn't leave. So then security is called to help the guy get out of the space. He's not allowed to be there, not because he was doing anything, but precisely because he was just in a space where it was no longer reasonable to be. And that's that. So he was removed peacefully without, there was no like yelling or dragging away. There was no fight or spit or anything like that. It was just, this guy seemed to not understand that he could not be in that spot anymore. So that's the entirety of the incident. I did put that out on Twitter in less words because it's Twitter, but hopefully that kind of explains what was going on. That's how it was. Dave says, "Hi Nick, glad to have your live stream back. I agree. You do not work for/with/tangentially with Vic or Ty. You work for us and our education. Keep on keeping on and do good for folks who need it. Dave A." Thanks, Dave. Thanks, buddy. I really appreciate that. Okay. Let's talk about the new stuff. The new stuff. So I have not talked to you guys about Discovery. And I've gotten a lot of questions about Discovery. Did they produce Discovery? Did they produce Discovery on time? What's up with the Discovery? Well, two things. Discovery was not produced on time. It was next day. One day after their time limit. Now, does that mean that you win the case or anything? No. Discovery being late by a day, you can make an issue out of it. Not sure that it needs to be made out of. I don't know. That'll be up to Ty and Vic, right? That'll be up to their legal strategy. I'm not their legal strategist. Sorry. So what they'll do with that, I don't know. Missing a Discovery deadline by one day, typically, unless the lawyers are super at odds with each other or things have been really stupid up to this point, typically you would have a lawyer say, "Oh, whatever, I got it," right? There's no prejudice. If there is prejudice, like if you really needed that Discovery by that day because of a specific thing, like a deposition or whatever, that would be a big deal. But we know depositions, we now know, you now know, depositions are scheduled for like next week, right? The 26th, 7th, and 8th, I think. I've got the documents. We'll look at them in a little bit. But if you needed them for depositions and then they didn't produce them for that would be a big deal. But just general Discovery requests, you give them 30 days and they take 31. Why would you go to a judge and squabble over that if you've got the information? If you got the information. If you got the Discovery requests produced, you wouldn't make a big deal out of it. But what if you didn't get the Discovery that you asked for? Because the other side didn't provide it. That would be different, wouldn't it? That would be weird. What if they gave a reason for not providing that Discovery? And what if that reason was, hold me for just a moment. Stay with me. Stick with me, girl. What if that reason, unironically, was, we want a Rule 11 confidentiality agreement? You can't make it up. You can't make it up. if I were writing the story, you wouldn't believe it because it's so flipping stupid. But what if they said, look, we want a confidentiality agreement or we're not going to release the information that you asked for? Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't it be something if, as a lawyer in court, you said to a judge, no, Your Honor, we don't want a confidentiality order. And they don't either. We want everything public. And so does everybody. What if you said that? And then, to avoid producing the requested discovery, you said we won't do it without a confidentiality agreement. I can't fathom the world in which that makes sense. So now, the Discovery deadline was missed by a day, and some of Discovery was produced, but much was not. Much was not. Now, the excuse is, we want a confidentiality agreement. Pretty sure that's not a legitimate way to avoid your Discovery deadline. I'm not an expert. But there isn't a rule that says that you can withhold discovery contingent upon a confidentiality agreement that the week before or 2 weeks before or whatever, you swore up and down that to a judge that you did not want and would not agree with. I'm pretty sure there is no Texas rule of civil procedure that says that you can, on the record, say we do not want and will not accept a confidentiality agreement and then withhold discovery, saying you'll only disclose it if you get a confidentiality agreement. No way on earth is that a rule. So, I assume that they're working behind the scenes to rectify this, but I assume that the judge is probably going to have to hear about it. But again, why? Why? Which one do we believe, right? Do we believe a man telling a judge on the record, recorded, literally recorded, transcribed or whatever? Do we believe the man telling the judge saying, we don't want it? We don't want it. The women involved don't want it either. The accusers don't want confidentiality. They don't want it. Or do we believe them when they say, we want confidentiality and we'll produce the information after that? I think I believe the first one. I think the second one might be, we don't actually have 100 women, right? Isn't that right? Like maybe they don't have any evidence at all, other than what we've all seen on Twitter, or Pretty Ugly Little Liars, or Reset Era. Remember that the smoking gun was coming, right? I'm pretty sure Ron Soye said over and over and over again, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. You might be used to saying Might be used to saying that, right? It's coming. I'm pretty sure over and over again he said it's coming, and we want it all out. We want to do it the right way. We want to do it the right way. We don't want it private. We want it public. We want everything public, everything out there. But then when it's nut up or shut up time, suddenly it's shut up. How weird is that? Maybe Funimation should be taking notes. Hey, Funimation. You know what was absent from all of those answers, Funimation? If you're watching, if you see this, you realize what was absent? Specific denials of agency or employee relationships. I know you guys, Funimation, are now, because you couldn't do it during the firestorm when it was benefiting you. Take notes, Funimation. When it was benefiting you, you were happy to accept that your employees and or agents were running around slagging the guy that you just fired and giving you cover for firing him. You loved that. That was useful to you. And then when court came around and they walked up with their little Oliver cup, right? Please, sir, defend me more. And you guys said, nah, y'all hire your own lawyers. We wouldn't want it to look like your employees or agents, because if Funimation had funded the defense of Rial and Marky and Toye, it sure would look like they were employees or agents. But they didn't do that. No. We never heard of these people. Oh God, we're like everybody who doesn't watch anime. We've never heard of Monica Rial or Jamie Markey. Oh wait, Markey. We're like the majority of people who do watch anime. Never heard of Monica Rial or Jamie Markey. Funimation, take notes, because it kind of looks like they're setting you guys up for vicarious liability. But I mean, what am I, right? Let me take the approach of Toye's lawyer, Marky's lawyer, Rial's lawyer, and think, what happens if I lose the TCPA? What happens if I lose on summary judgment? What do I want? Like, I'm very confident in my case. You're not gonna get defamation. But what if they win that? Oh, it would be way better if Funimation paid the bill, I think. So maybe we don't argue so hard. They're not agents, right? Or employees. Because if you could pass that liability on, especially if they're talking about something official, like your confidential investigation that you guys insisted would be confidential, and then suddenly it wasn't confidential, and your employees and or agents were running around spreading that information, and you guys chose not to address it, right? Maybe even that little statement about the investigation, maybe that circumstantially, maybe a jury could be persuaded to believe that that was actually an endorsement of the statements by Monica Rial, Jamie Markey, and Ron Toye about the investigation, right? Because you didn't need to mention it. You didn't need to, but you did. After they were already talking about it, even though they had no business doing it, you didn't repudiate that in the slightest. And it seems like that's an act that could maybe convince a Tarrant County jury. Maybe, I don't know how. Maybe you could convince a jury that your statement actually was endorsing, not even failing to repudiate, but actively endorsing the words of your agents. I don't know, though. Just an internet lawyer. I don't know why anyone would think to argue that. But Funimation, maybe run that by your counsel and see what they think about that argument. Because there's a way out of civil conspiracy, right? If you just maybe like were to settle or something and turn over stuff to the other party and sell the people who are trying to sell you under the river, you sell them up the river. You sell them up the river rather than them selling you up the river. That's how this works, right? Like, that's how these multi-party suits work. But if you think all of these people are on the same side against Vic, they're on their own side against Vic. And I almost feel like Funimation might be overlooking that. But we'll see. We'll see. Again, I don't know how a jury found a bakery or found a college guilty of defaming a bakery and gave them $33 million in damages. I don't know how that happened, but I do know that it did. And so if I'm the college, Funimation, and I'm looking out there going, what did we do that could maybe be the Oberlin moment? Like, let's talk about this Oberlin thing real quick. What did the administrative staff of Oberlin College do to specifically endorse that action? There's some very critical articles out there about this case, saying that the jury shouldn't have awarded it this way because the college didn't do it. It was these individual actors. And that just because the student group that put it out there was a student group that was allowed on campus. Well, lots of student groups are allowed on campus. Or just because a faculty member said something doesn't mean that the college is officially represented. Or just because that the dean of the college or the president or whoever she was at a rally and handed out at least one flyer. And I don't know if they could even prove that she handed out more. She handed out at least one. Maybe only one, and maybe only to a reporter. That's not a lot of activity, but that was endorsement, right? By the college of the actions of employees and agents. That was enough. That was enough to hang them. So if I'm the college in this case, if I'm Funimation, I have to look at this and go, huh. We didn't deny that these people had this knowledge, ever. We didn't deny that they were acting in their capacity as employees. We didn't deny that they were authorized to talk about this. We didn't deny their involvement in the investigation. We didn't do anything. We didn't do anything. We didn't send out a memo or an email, I'm guessing, to them to say, hey, knock it off. Didn't do a thing. And then you put out a statement that confirms what they're saying. Ooh, that's shaky ice. That's shaky ice to skate. Slushy ice, thin. I don't want to say thin ice, because it's beyond thin. It's broken up. You're jumping across freezing water here. I don't know. I wonder what the internet lawyers think about it. The not internet lawyers, they're the real lawyers that are on the internet. I'm the internet lawyer who's on the real. So there's that. Artorius Castus says, here's to you, good sir. Keep being awesome. Raises glass. Again, I'm drank too much this weekend, so. Back at you, buddy. Jason Alator says, Nick, you and your friends are setting a standard on how to kick back these trash pandas who ruin many hobbies I used to be able to take part in. Thank you. My pleasure. My pleasure. Haskell Barnett says, I hope Ty told them either to F off, that's not happening, or offered to trade a confidentiality agreement in exchange for Monica taking Ron's very small balls out of her purse and handing them over. Stay tuned. We'll see. We'll see what happens, right? We'll see. We'll see how that pans out. I'm very interested to see how that pans out, though. Mark Nicholas says, whatever happened to all that confidence they were rocking a month ago? I don't know. Where's the TCPA motion? Right? Where's the TCPA motion? That's the real question. By all accounts, it makes sense to file it before depositions. Not just after VIX and before the others. TCPA exists to stop a lawsuit that is presumptively frivolous because it infringes upon protected speech. TCPA does not exist to remove a valid lawsuit. That's a summary of the purpose statement in the statute. If this thing is meritless, why are you doing depositions in the first place? Why are you exchanging discovery in the first place? See, this is the thing, right? If you've got TCPA, when they file their lawsuit and their document requests, you immediately, well, within the time frame, but soon, you file your TCPA because you don't need to comply with discovery, which is expensive and cumbersome. And they should have a case prior to discovery. So you don't need to help them. They're costing you money. You file the TCPA, and if you win, you win, and it's done. It's over. Why do discovery? Very weird. For all parties, not just for Ronica or Moron or whatever you want to call them. It's a very weird approach for everybody. Maybe they're not so confident in that TCPA. Maybe they think that Vic will say something that'll do it in. Maybe they're worried about their ability to prove the truth of their statements. Because remember, yes, I know, Vic bears the burden, right? Vic bears the burden. The plaintiff bears the burden. Well, when you raise an affirmative defense, assuming the plaintiff meets their burden, you better be able to actually make that affirmative defense. The burden shifts to you at that point. So suddenly, they've asserted the truthfulness, or they've asserted hyperbole. They have to prove those elements. They have to prove the elements of any of those affirmative defenses. Otherwise, they lose. They lose on that. And if you lose on that TCPA, you're vulnerable to summary judgment. Might not even have to have a jury trial, especially if you go through depositions and authenticate the facts. If the other party doesn't disagree on the facts, then you've just got the law. And if you lose a TCPA and the court goes, yeah, a fact finder could determine that these are defamatory, then you have to really ask. This goes to summary judgment. The judge who just said this may have merit gets to rule on whether or not it does. And the alternative was, if this doesn't have this either doesn't have merit or it may. If it doesn't have merit, you win. If it may have merit, you're kind of at 50-50, but the judge has just ruled that this might be something here. And then that's the person who's going to determine your summary judgment. Why isn't there a TCPA? Why haven't they produced the 100 women? Because I think if I were them and I didn't have 100 women, I would be desperately hoping to depose Vic and to get Vic to say something that I could latch on to the statements. I would be desperately trying to get an admission from Vic because I don't have anything else. And if you don't have anything else, oh man, that's a bad place to be. It's a bad place to be. Jose Newcomb says, would you review another lawyer's video on YouTube? Legal Eagle on his Is Captain Marvel a Villain? I personally think he showed his super lawyer skills and bias. I don't know. I could be a mansplaining conservative though. Maybe. I've heard it's pretty silly. Heard it's pretty silly. But yeah. I don't know. This has been such an interesting ride, right? This case, I told you guys I've been wrong on something, and here we go. I've been wrong on something, and I'm going to fess up to it right now. I told you that the case would slow down. I underestimated how little the other side had, and I didn't give them much credit. But where is it? They've been waiting to produce it. Waiting to produce it. Where is it? It's coming! Your date's up. No! What are they doing? Oh my gosh. So we'll see. I will keep you posted if I hear anything about a hearing or about a motion. So here's how this works, right? Here's the next step. If you don't produce discovery, you address this by filing a motion to compel. You file a motion to compel, and then the court will determine whether or not you should be forced to produce the discovery. And how they do that is, were the rules of civil procedure followed? I would strongly assert that they have not been followed, but I'm sure someone else would say that they have been. Okay. So then you go to a judge and you say, Judge, here's the rules of civil procedure. They weren't followed. And they say, no, Judge, here's the rules of civil procedure. And they were followed. And then the judge makes a determination of law. This is the judge's job. So that would be a motion to compel. Now, wouldn't it be interesting if both lawyers had already agreed to be at the Tarrant County Courthouse with the judge present for a 3-day period of time, in which you could have a hearing, potentially, if the judge is available and if the lawyers are available? Wouldn't it be funny if they'd already agreed to be at the courthouse on like a 3-day period? Oh, I don't know, in the next week or so. For a judge to determine discovery issues. I don't know. But depending on how fast everything moves, and what course the parties decide to take, one strategy would be to file a motion to compel. Parties are entitled to hearings on motions, so they could have a hearing before the judge. They'd file their motion, the other side would file their counter motion, they'd have an argument about it, and the judge would rule. And now it seems like with depositions coming up and discovery deadlines already being passed, and presumably that discovery being desirous information to possess going into a deposition, presumably the judge would want to act quickly on that, because otherwise the parties are going to petition for a follow-up deposition. They're going to say, look, judge, we wanted to depose them on these specific things that they've asserted, specific aspects of their case, and they have not provided us with the discovery. So now we have to ask for yet another deposition, which you need a court approval for, potentially, depending on how much deposition you did the first time. So the judge might want to go ahead and hear that beforehand, but that remains to be seen. You have to ask. But again, if only there was going to be a judge specifically waiting to hear on this matter about a related issue, and the lawyers had already agreed to the date. So there you go. We'll see. We'll see what's going on. Remember when I said that the drive-by lawyers, they don't have all the information that's out there. I don't either, right? I certainly don't have all of the information. But they're not versed in the facts of the case, like the legitimate facts of the case, right? You guys have been following this for more than 5 months. For more than 5 months, you've been following this. Some of you, because you're fans of Vic. You've seen this industry. You know about the drama that's been going on. And so then when these accusations came out, now 5 months ago, when they came out, you guys already knew. You're like, wait a minute, that's ridiculous, or those are stupid rumors, or whatever. You already knew that. These guys don't. So what they're doing is coming in, and they're taking a snippet, and they're focusing heavily on it. They may be overlooking various aspects of Texas procedure, but I want to stress, it's not useful really to argue with them about this, because they don't have this information. They're not going to accept it from you. And the point that what they're going to try and do is dunk on you, because this is how law Twitter works, right? Law Twitter, you dunk on either a lawyer or you dunk on a layperson about their lack of knowledge of the law. That's law Twitter. And it's very entertaining, but it's not thorough. It's not thorough. And ultimately, sometimes law Twitter dunks on people and they're very wrong. So that'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. So I'm not suggesting that you run out and argue with the other lawyers. I don't think that that's profitable. I think that's profitable only for them, because their engagement that they're really hooked on happens then. But yeah, there's that. Should we switch to these documents? I think that's what I've got for you. I think that's the news for now. Keep an eye on things. Keep an eye on things. If there is something that happens with this, if there's a filing, obviously, if there's a motion to compel, if a hearing is set, I will bring you that information and analysis as fast as possible. I'll do it right away. We're going to cover that in real time. And that will be, if it's going to happen, it's going to be in the next couple days, right? Because those depositions are coming up. So things have to move very, very quickly. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right. Let's move on from this topic and into the documents. We'll do a review of them. We'll do super chats. And then we'll probably wrap up the show. Maybe I'll tell you the tale of United Airlines and how I got home. I saw a super chat about it earlier. We'll talk about that at some point too. Will the submitted discovery be public sometime soon? It's up to the attorneys and how they deal with that discovery information. It's not confidential, right? But it's also not, I don't want to say it's not public, but unless they file it, there's no release mechanism that exists. Or unless they give it to somebody, right? That's something. Either side could technically release some of that discovery information. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Will it be filed? The stuff that they use would be filed. They would supplement their, memorandums or affidavits with bits from discovery. But I don't know. I don't know how it'll ultimately play out. What I do know is that one side has specifically said that they want everything public. That's the other side. That they want the names of women public. The names of women who have accused Vic. That they want them public. And that those women want them public. They have said that. That they want everything public. I know that the other side has said something along the lines of, who cares if it's public, right? There was a point where a confidentiality agreement was talked about, but that was only in reference to the deposition if there was a TCPA filed right after Vic's deposition but before the other people's. That was the only contemplation of a confidentiality agreement. And it would have been temporary in nature anyway. But, so neither side has expressed a desire to keep everything private. But keeping things, how public they'll be, I don't know. We'll see. Is releasing it without it being filed illegal? No. God, no. No. There's nothing illegal about it. Absent a court order, there's nothing illegal about it. And any of the dummies out there talking about the public trial rule of professional conduct, yeah, get in line. Lawyers talk about their cases publicly all the time and don't violate that rule all the time. And they release information about cases all the time. It's not a violation of that rule. Now, and in this case, the likelihood of, say, me releasing information, or even like Shane, probably even less so from Shane or Greg Douchette or whatever, any of these people, any of us involved releasing information about this, the likelihood of that tainting a Tarrant County jury is very low, right? The overwhelming majority of people in the United States, and probably even higher percentage in Tarrant County specifically, are not versed in anime, and the overwhelming majority of people who are versed in anime are not up to speed on the Vic situation and not following it specifically, right? This is a small quadrant of the world, and a small subset of fandom that is following this intently, and the likelihood of even one of those people showing up in a Tarrant County jury and getting past voir dire to impact the case in a public manner is so low that it's silly. And every rule of professional conduct runs up against the first rule. Well, it's not the first rule specifically, but the premier rule, which is zealously represent your client. And if a lawyer thinks that some publicity about something is zealously representing their client, then that's what they think. And that's a hard thing to argue with in an ethics violation. Okay, so there's that. Mark Cole says, thanks for introducing me to Warhammer 40k. Started the Eisenhorn audiobook series, and I've played through Warhammer 40k Space Marine Shooter. Attaboy. Oddly enough, the dystopian setting has been a welcome change from clown world and politics. It's great, man. It's great. Enjoy digging further into it because it's fun. Oh, I forgot. Marty gave me a kill team of salamanders. I'll show them on the, one of the next shows. And I did get to play a kill team game with Marty at Matsuri, which was a ton of fun. And we had a good time there. IHopina 1, IHop in a 1 says, thanks for signing my bottle of Duke whiskey. Hey, you're welcome. You're welcome. It was awesome meeting you. I saw you at the Anime Matsuri rave. Yes, I did. It was the first rave I've been to in, oh man, at least 16 years. Probably more like, probably 17 or 18. It's been a long time since I've been to a rave. It was a ton of fun to be there. So yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. Blaine20 says, but Jedi Master said that Ty broke all the rules by giving you Ron's private DMs, including the criminal case ones and the ones about where Vic refuses DNA tests and such. Oh, yeah. Yeah. All the rules are broken. And yet no one cares. No one ever seems to care. Okay. Let's get into these documents, shall we? Shall we? Mr. Producer. Document 12, go! Just a second, I actually got to pull it up. All right, we got. We all know you were at the Hentai Fest. Just confess it's art. Oh my goodness. I was at the Hentai Fest, and hentai is art. Oh, and you know, that's one of the interesting things, right? Like, watch the drive-bys commenting on hentai or lolicon. All of the free speech lawyers out there saying that hentai and lolly is obscenity. Or, you know, you could go to jail for it. Well, no one has, though. No one has. Not in the US. Very interesting. Weird group of people. Weird group of people. And I mean the drive-by lawyers. I don't mean the anime congoers. Okay. Gotcha-san says Twitch tomorrow. Maybe Twitch tonight. Stay tuned. I haven't played any video games in forever. All right, so here is the agreed motion to extend time to file the motion to dismiss. So the background on this is the TCPA has a 60-day rule. If you remember, Casey, early on, Casey basically said, because Ty offered early on to extend the TCPA to accommodate the depositions of Vic, Toye, and Rial. Because one of Casey's arguments was, we have a 60-day deadline, and if we don't get their depositions in, or if we don't, you know, get Vic's deposition in, then, you know, then we'd miss the deadline. And Ty said, we'll extend it. And he said, no, it's very, very hard to extend the TCPA 60-day deadline, right? Like, that's what that was. It's very hard to do it. And I said, no, it isn't. It's in the judge's discretion. And generally, when both parties agree, the judge's discretion would be to say, okay. So let's just remember that little tidbit, because that was great. All of this is so good. Blaine20 says, channeling Mark Levinsky. Lol. T. Greg Doucette says, you got one thing right, Nick. Hentai is art, as is my Miku Hatsune body pillow. Thank you very much. I had to peel Lady Rackets away from the husbando or whatever pillows of Dean and Castiel from Supernatural. I almost had to get my knife out and chop them up. Plaintiff Victor Mignogna and defendants Monica Rial and Ron Toye respectfully request that this court extend the time to file a motion to dismiss pursuant to Chapter 27 of the Texas Civil Practice and Remedies Code, also known as the Texas Citizens Participation Act, TCPA, or the Act, and would show the court as follows. Introductory facts. 1. Plaintiff filed his original petition on April 18th, 2019. Defendants Rial and Toye accepted service of the petition on April 19th, 2019. Defendants Rial and Toye filed their original answer on May 13th, 2019. On May 31st, 2019, plaintiff and all defendants in the lawsuit attended a hearing before the court concerning certain discovery matters. During the discovery hearing, plaintiff and defendants Rial and Toye agreed to sit for depositions before the end of June 2019, to be arranged with the court coordinator of the 141st District Court. Also, during the discovery hearing, plaintiff and defendants Rial and Toye agreed to extend the time to file a motion to dismiss pursuant to the TPA in order to allow for these agreed depositions to take place. Number 5, plaintiff and defendants have agreed to sit for depositions at the Tom Vandergriff Civil Courts building during the last week of June. Plaintiff will sit for his deposition on June 26th. Defendant Toye will sit for his deposition on June 27th. Defendant Rial will sit for her deposition on June 28th, 2019. Blaine20 says, I bet T. Greg Doucette has a husbando pillow of Quasi Erwick with a fleshlight insert in the back. Gross. Ew. Ew. DNA Crow says, I'm so sorry, Nick. Apparently I was supposed to stop BPM from giving you jelly beans at the For the Fans panel. Kick Vic says we totally screwed Vic over, and with that, and we are super sorry. We basically cost the case. So sorry. Yes. Oh gosh, it's assault. Jelly bean assault. The case is lost for the 100th time in a row. Case keeps getting lost. What are we gonna do? There's my mouse. Basis for the motion. Plaintiff and defendants Rial and Toye now move the court pursuant to Texas Practice and Remedies Code 27.003B to extend the time to file the motion to dismiss under the TCPA. Section 27.003B permits the court to, quote, extend the time to file a motion under this section on a showing of good cause. And the footnote is just to the same code that we just talked about. Plaintiff and defendants Rial and Toye assert that there is good cause to extend the time to file the motion to dismiss in order to allow for the timely progress of prearranged discovery in this matter. Plaintiff and defendants Rial and Toye believe that this motion complies with the court's statements during the discovery hearing and will promote judicial economy in avoiding any further motion practice concerning these agreed depositions. Accordingly, plaintiff and defendants Rial and Toye respectfully request an order from the court extending the time to file the motion to dismiss for defendants Rial and Toye to July 19th in order to allow for depositions to take place on June 26th, 27th, 28th, and grant plaintiff and defendants Rial and Toye all other relief to which they may be entitled. Respectfully submitted by Casey Eric, who is now with Cowles and Thompson, and Andrea Perez, still of Kessler Collins, attorneys for defendants Monica Rial and Ronald Toye, and Ty Beard, Harris, Bullock, and Hughes, and the certificate of service. So here's the service. So yeah, there's that. That's the motion. And then we have a proposed order. This order has not been signed by the court, I don't believe. Correct. But the proposed order is very short. Very short. On this day, the court considered the agreed motion to extend time to file motion to dismiss, filed by plaintiff Victor Mignana and defendants Rial and Toye. The court finds there is good cause to extend the time to file a motion to dismiss under Chapter 27 of the Texas Civil Practice and Remedies Code. Accordingly, the court finds the motion should be granted, and it's enacted on this day, signed by judge. Again, if you want the judge to sign an order, give him an order to sign. Helps out. So there we go. That is where we're at with this. There's not really much to say on that makes sense to extend the TCPA. Again, what doesn't make sense is why the TCPAs were not filed immediately by the parties. So expect some fig ops on that. Of course, it'd be really interesting to have Markey or Funimation file a TCPA on the 27th, right? Or the 26th after Vic's deposition. I mean, it wouldn't look suspicious at all. And I think the court might have an emergency hearing on that motion, or there would probably be an emergency counter motion demanding that the discovery still take place with regard to depositions of the other two parties, because that's the whole point. But they wouldn't do that, right? Funimation and Markey wouldn't file those because that would look like some sort of collusive behavior. Maybe some sort of conspiracy to commit discovery abuse, and might be sanctionable by the court. I don't know. But we'll see. Like I said, keep your eye out for fig ops on that. The fact that none of them have filed a TCPA is very strange. Very strange. But I don't think the court will like that. This judge doesn't seem to be the kind of judge who likes people screwing around. So, all right. That said, go back to here. Don't need the documents anymore. We're going to do super chats. Let's just do super chats and see where that takes us. Or we'll start with some justice chats. Justice G-String says, how was Hentai Fest, Nick? Don't lie. I have sources that saw you in nothing but your Justice G-string shaking your ahem man gavel about like a Ricardo Milo's wannabe. Well, I can neither confirm nor deny. Marty Lund says it wasn't enough that you used your evil lawyer powers to unduly influence the Dice and Kill team, but you made sure you were the last person to ever win on that battle mat too. Press F to pay respects for the battle mat that drowned in Houston baggage. Yeah, I didn't talk about this. Poor Marty graciously brings me a kill team. We played. I didn't even rub it in that I won, but I did. You stupid Tyranids got purged by salamanders. But yeah, Marty's luggage. There were horrific rainstorms on Sunday. I heard that the airport got struck by lightning several times. So lots of flights were delayed or canceled. Marty's luggage was left by United, right? Was it United? Was left outside in the rain. And all of his stuff, man, all of his, clothes can be washed, but his manga, his art that he bought, his collectibles, his Vic autograph stuff all got destroyed by the carelessness of whatever airline's baggage handlers that were. And if it was United, I've got bad things to say, and I do have a few positive things to say about my experience with United. I'll talk about that in a minute. TLJ Screwjob says, hey, Nick. So I just watched the first 2 Chad Dad streams, and you mentioned on the first one that you were implementing a new system called Streamlabs and that you wanted to slowly go to them and just phase out YouTube super chats because he'll stream. I did, but people use YouTube super chats and they don't use Streamlabs as much. So, what do you do? Then TLJ Screwjob follows up and says, also, I mentioned you to the High Council, EVS, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, and Jeff from World Class BSers, to talk Star Wars and all this YouTube censorship / general legal stuff, and they seemed super interested. They have it Tuesdays starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. Well, Ethan knows exactly where to find me. I would love to. I'd love to talk about whatever. Always enjoy talking to Ethan. Would love to meet the other guys on a stream and chat with them. Tess Not on Holiday says, following the Rekieta invasion of 2019, Texas, along with much of the surrounding states, had their alcohol reserves run dry for generations to come. Houston erupted in a sea of bottles in what is now known as the Great Collapse. It is now a wasteland. That's wonderful. 37 says, pathetic standards. You represented Vic without ever meeting him. But I didn't even represent him. This is everything we've been saying about how you're too unethical to be a lawyer. If you try to correct this, read lie, I'll record it and send it to the authorities. I will not be harassed. Yes, send it right along to the smoking police. Make sure you tell the smoking police where I am at all times as well. And see how well that goes. TLJ Screwjob says, so what's the judge going to say when Ty / Jim / the Amazons show him that Soye is still tweeting about Vic and saying he's talked about the allegations at panels for years, as late as June 9th. What would it take for Casey to legally say, I'm done? Oh, I mean, them running out of money. But it's going to get harder and harder for Casey to withdraw from the case. Man, I hope Casey's getting paid in advance. I hope he is, because... Oh. Ben Cheever says, they want you gone so badly because they are terrified of us being able to focus our outrage into a common end, and they want to take the power back from the fans and hold it to the gatekeeper inner circle they're trying to cultivate by canceling people like Vic. Nailed it. Absolutely correct. Mercenary X says, please stop with the evil villain laughter. You're actually scaring me and terrifying me. But beyond being a wannabe Bond villain, just how screwed is the opposition? I've maintained from the start, man, these types of cases aren't easy. They're easier when you write everything down. We'll see, right? We'll see. But it's pretty hard to argue that there's any other event that caused Vic to be canceled. I think I went on a screaming rant about this. But how do you say it's something other than the defamatory statements made by the defendants that caused Vic harm? And I haven't even talked about this, but these statements are defamatory per se. I mean, I have a little bit. They're per se defamatory. So if you call someone a rapist or a pedophile or a child molester, these are per se defamatory statements. If they're offered as factual statements, which they are, these people cannot pretend that they were just being hyperbolic and insulting. Because I'm pretty sure Ron said something like, no, I mean he's a sexual predator and assaults women. I'm pretty sure he actually did tweet that out. But there's no way you look at the majority of these statements and say that it's anything other than statements of fact. Okay? But they can try, right? But the case, man, the case, it's got the elements for a defamation case. It has it. You have statements of fact made to a third party that are defamatory and false, and you have damages. But for the statements that are per se defamatory, all you need to know is that they were made to a third party. Then you don't have to prove the defamatory nature or the damages nature of them. Calling someone a pedophile as a fact statement is likely defamatory per se. Calling someone a rapist, likely defamatory per se. And when you say something specific like, he sexually assaulted this person, that is definitely defamatory per se. So, you know, well, almost definitely. Almost definitely. Okay. These hands says they're taking the long way around to be found in contempt of court. They sure are. TLJ Screwjob says, let's say Funny settles and says, we'll rehire Vic and not fire him unless we have actual legitimate cause. Then 3 months go by and Vic isn't in any new shows. And Funny just says, well, Vic wasn't the right fit for any of the roles. That's what they do. Nothing preventing them from doing that. Gay and Still Large says, does someone have a record going of all the times the case has been lost? Man, no one can count that high. That's like asking Ron Toye to count out how many women. That's funny. Someday we'll talk about that. Freaker Hunter says, I'm glad you're back. Starting to get lawsplaining withdrawal. Last night, I almost called up Larry H. Parker to ask him to shout, it's not for you, it's for the fans just to feel whole again. That phrase, man, that phrase has stuck so well. And it's great. I really love it because it's the most succinct summary of all of this stuff across all of these communities. Blink Your Eyes 1400 says, why don't sharks bite lawyers? Professional courtesy. Miku Evo Racing says, thanks again for hanging out with us at the cars. Hey, Miku, what's up, buddy? That was very cool, man. Your car is something else. Something else. I love that. I love the heck out of what you do to those cars, and the dedication, the art is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Solo Beverly says, hello, Rackets. Glad to see you again. Hey, buddy. Did you get a lift from Mars Girl when United Airlines let you down? No. I got a lift from Delta. So what happened to me was karma. A lot of people left on Sunday. I was, Lady Rackets and our flight was like 6 p.m. on Monday. And so when all those people's planes were canceled, like I was laughing at Hero Hey, sucker. Your plane was, I'm not really, but no, so planes got canceled or whatever, and people had to find accommodations and all that, and it was a mess. And then the next day was beautiful. Beautiful day, no weather issues. And our flight was in the evening, on time, all day long, on time. What is this? Hold on 1 second. Oh, I think it's the same stuff. Oh, I'm supposed to look at the GoFundMe. So all day, our plane is on time. Everything's great. Everything's great. Whoa! Kiwi Farms, or Kiwi F. Kiwi F. I'll pull this up on screen. This is great. We have passed... I got an email earlier and from GoFundMe that says you're 90% funded, right? Past 90% funded. Here we go. Pull this back up. Make sure we're on screen. Check this out. $1,100 from Kiwi F. So thank you. Thank you very much to Kiwi F. I don't know if that's the farms like collectively, or if that's just a Kiwi farm person, or if it's just some New Zealander named F. I have no idea. But thank you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Again, all this stuff is so helpful for Vic. Okay. So all day, our plane is on time and everything's fine. Well, we get to the gate. We'd had some dinner. We had some barbecue there in the airport. It was actually pretty good. Kind of surprising for airport food, but it's pretty good barbecue. And get to the gate, and our plane is not there. A little concerning because we're supposed to be boarding in like 3 minutes. And then they start pushing back the time. So then it's like 6:35. And then it's 10 o'clock because they found out that the plane had not left Mexico. That's where it was coming from. Mexico, Houston, Minnesota. So then we're just like, well, I guess we just wait. Then we heard the plane hadn't actually left Houston to go to, or hadn't gotten to Mexico to leave Mexico, or whatever. It was just a huge mess. So they keep pushing it back, Then they tell us around 10:30. Plane was supposed to leave at 10:57. Then then it's like, well, then it'll be just as soon as possible. Then it'll be as soon as possible. And what they announce is that, well, since the plane's coming from Mexico, the crew has to go through customs. So once they get through customs, they'll be here, do a quick check. You guys will all get on the plane and go. So it's now 11 o'clock. We're 5 hours past our departure time. And they get on the intercom and they announce that the crew is now over their union mandated maximum day. And the flight is canceled. Here's the interesting thing about that, right? In theory, they should have known about 3 hours prior that they would be over that time limit, right? Because if they're leaving Mexico and have a 3-hour flight to Houston, and when they get there and get out, they'll be over their time limit, they should have canceled the flight 3 hours prior, but they didn't. They canceled the flight and they said, we have no answers. Go across the terminal to the customer service desk. So I book it with dignity. I walk very fast. And I believe I was the first person from our plane to get to the line. But the line is already 100 people deep. 100 people deep. And so I don't get to move. And for the next hour, I moved about 10 feet. And most of that was because of people leaving the line, not people getting help. People only started getting help about 50 minutes into my hour-long stand. But that's when right when I got to that, on the way to that line, I pulled out my phone and I tweeted out to United to get to me in DMs. And I actually did get into DMs with United. The customer service I got through direct message on Twitter was far better than whatever was going on at the counter. And they were able to eventually, this took the whole hour, eventually get my tickets refunded. They tried to book me on an alternative flight, but I had already booked an alternative flight on my own, on Delta, because, well, I really didn't. I know that United didn't have availability on their flights, and so I didn't know what they were going to do. They tried to get me on a flight to Dallas and then up to Minnesota, and I prefer direct flights. I had already booked the flight. Then the real nightmare started. Lady Rackets has medication she's supposed to take in the morning and in the evening. And morning and the evening. And so we went down to get our checked bag. And all they told her was, of course, that she shouldn't have checked her medication. It's her fault. Should have been in her carry-on. Well, that's great, but she needs medication at night and in the morning, right? And so they say they'll try and find the bag, but they're very busy. They'll try and find it. So we should just go sit over there. So we sit in a chair for 3.5 hours. And the lady occasionally would look over to Lady Rackets and say, oh, we're looking for it. All we want is his bag, right? All we want is our bag. We can go recheck it and do whatever, but they're looking for it. So after 3.5 hours, and me with some awkward sleeping, I got up and went over and asked where the bag was. And they said, we don't know. Don't know where it is at all. We'll just make sure it gets to Minneapolis. And I'm like, but we need it now. You told us 3 hours ago or whatever that you were going to find it. And they're like, well, we just can't. And so then I got to talk to a supervisor. I didn't ask. I was not like, let me talk to your manager. I didn't have the headshot haircut. I just was sad. And so they put the manager on the phone and he's like, yeah, when you refunded your flight, it deleted your bag from our system. So we don't know where it is. It's somewhere. And the tag is still on it. So it'll get to Minneapolis. We promise. Pinky promise or whatever that it'll get there. But we can't tell you where it is. Like, shouldn't it be by a giant pile of bags that are supposed to be on a plane to Minneapolis that aren't on it because it didn't go? Like, that's where it is. All you have to do is go find it. But that's apparently not how it works. I don't know. What am I? What am I? Logistics? Logistics for an airline? No. But to me, it makes sense. Like, okay, I get that you can't scan this bag and find it. But shouldn't you know where a huge 300 bags are that are all going to the same place? Like, shouldn't that be somewhere in the requisite knowledge of you guys that then you could go get it? But no, apparently not. And they swore up and down that they would get it to us. The ray of sunshine in this story is that when I got to Minneapolis this morning, the bag was waiting there. So credit to, I think his name was Eric. I was really tired. Credit to customer service manager of United Baggage Claim in Houston. That bag got there and I didn't for a second believe it. But the entire rest of the experience was garbage. Was absolute garbage. And United can catch fire. In Minecraft, I will avoid them. I will avoid them. So that's my United story. Let me get back to these chats. Just wanted to let you guys know. But we did get home today. We did have to sleep on chairs in the airport. And then try and sleep on the plane. And then I had to drive, a couple hours from the airport home. It was a mess. Eric Rader says, wait, is this the next one? Yeah. Nick, can you discuss the Discord leak from DBZ UK Kame House? Kickvic is now mocking him since he is on the autism spectrum Is the evidence of Kick Vic's secret Discord from DB's UK now admissible evidence for Vic's lawsuit? It's certainly things that might be brought up in deposition. That's what I would do. Whether or not it's admissible, I don't know. It would depend on if you can authenticate it. It would depend on if, you know, the timing of the stuff. But I mean, presumably, yeah. If it has probative value to the case and is authentic, and you can authenticate it, then yes, it would be admissible. My THLC, thanks for the donation and the question. Says, I screwed up my last super chat message, so here's another 20. Anyways, drinking beer. I want you to turn For the Fans into a global movement, bro. Cheers. Yeah, it would be really great if other communities started, you know, adopting that. There you go. Andrew War Snowboard says, God bless you, Daddy Rackets. 4 more hours. Hashtag KTL. Okay. IRTP says, hey, Rackets, do you have any idea what's going on with the kill stream? I saw Dame Peso's video, but I haven't heard anything else about it. No, I don't. Neil Purcell, I don't know what's going on with the kill stream. I'm not really... I talked to Failure briefly about whatever's going on with Andy and Alex and Failure. I don't know the details of this stuff. I barely know what today is because of my travel stuff. Neil Purcell says, late and vastly prefers emo Dark Queen. How dare you? How dare you? The Title Guardian says, hey, Nick, I had a great time at Anime Matsuri with you, Tug, Hero, and the community. I sent you some pics you might like from the con, so check your DMs. I totally do it again. Vic was amazing. Thanks for coming. My pleasure. It was tons of fun. I liked everything about Matsuri and the after party. The only thing I didn't like was the airline. The Artsy Tuber says, you made it home safe. This pleases me. Perhaps you should celebrate with a Kuba Kuba. I should, but I don't have any. I'll have to pick some up. Finn Frog says, cash for Fig Newtons. Hey, thanks, buddy. Jose M says, I'm 3 minutes late in Fig. Luminaire says, a whole week without Nick, total withdrawal. Well, I'm back. Adam Davidson says, I just wanted to thank you for having Shane on your stream and all of his brainlet glory. I have to go back and rewatch the stream once every couple weeks. I'm glad that is entertaining for you. Randstein, and my tweet was true, by the way. If I could express to you how often I heard, I have no idea who Shane Holmberg is, or in the alternative, I had never heard of Shane Holmberg before your stream and still don't know who Shane Holmberg is. Like, if I could express to you how many people said that, it was pristine. But remember, he's very influential and important in the con community. Randstein Hernandez says, Nick, hentai. It is a form of art. Appreciate it. I had to explain to my wife what hentai was, just like Kurt Eichenwald did. Tai Chi Magnus says, hey, Nick, I got a friend getting ready to start law school. Any suggestions for him? I also had some law questions I would like to ask. Can I email you? Yes, you can email me. No promises on how fast I can get back to you, but I will try. If I don't get back to you, hit me back. It might just get shuffled down, and I don't intend for that to happen, but sometimes it does with my, work emails. Sometimes take priority and things get shuffled down. But if you ask me questions and I don't answer them, please ping me again. Suggestions for your friend. First year's tough. But remember, those law professors are professors for a reason. And they're just people. Go drink with your law professors. Talk with them. Take away the mystery of them, because they're just lawyers. Some of them are bad at it. Some of them are good at it. But they're probably good at teaching it, whatever they are. Listen to them for their insight. And also learn as much as you can about the practice of law. Because they'll teach you a lot about the study of law. Learn what you can about the practice of it. That's invaluable. Blaine20 says, put this towards a bottle of Yamazaki. By the way, Andrew is drunk. Drunk. KTL equals KYL, kill your liver. Okay, thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate that. Next. Kyle Rambler says, hey, Nick, what about the Shane and other Kick Vic discords, etc.? Your cigar smoke bothered so many. Keep up the good work. Keep it going for the fans. Isn't it funny? What bothers these people? What bothers these people is Vic succeeding. People listening to guys like me, Tug, Flash, Hero Hey, whoever. It bothers them. Their narrative is gone and has been for 5 months. The best they could muster was a couple drive-by Twitter lawyers, and all it did was energize the few people who were already opposed. That's it. That's all it's done. It's got to burn them up. It's got to burn them up. It's great. Yeah. Why would they be so mad about smoking a cigar? Spooky Weeb Trash. Hey, what's up, Spooky? Nick, it was amazing to meet you and your lovely wife again. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to party with Vic. Love you guys. Back at you, Spooky. It was great to see you again. And, next time. Next time. Soviet 937 says, seeing the clip of you meeting Vic was so heartwarming. Almost made me tear jerk. Almost. Love you guys. Yeah, that was a good time. That was special to me. Intimidator 0108 says, loved Voltron while growing up in the 80s. Hey, me too, buddy. Me too. Pokemon's Master says, my birthday was Monday, but could you sing anyway? No, I don't. I really don't like to sing on stream, but how about this? Happy birthday, Pokemon's Master, even though it was on Monday. Talbot Link says, Nick, I come from the internet. I'm here to help. Jack White says, we'll watch the stream later, but Nick, you're great. Hey, thanks, buddy. GRP Poll says, now that we have an all caps cap, when will we get the Rackets jacket? I don't know. Michael McKinney says, it was truly a pleasure to meet you, sir, and I'm glad to see you enjoyed yourself. Thank you for your support for Vic and just being awesome. Hey, thanks, man. It was my pleasure. And I had great time meeting you as well. Yellow Flash 2 says, hashtag Vic kicks back. We take out the trash. Hey, what's up, buddy? SM Skorks 89 says, did you get to talk to Ruben Langdon? No! That's one thing. I really wanted to talk to Ruben while I was there, and I didn't get to. Hopefully, I can talk to him again somewhere else. I think he might be at HawaiiCon. I don't know. But I really want to talk to Ruben. Autism Cat says, Kick Vic loves calling me an incel despite the fact that I'm a woman. Panel at Anime Matsuri was great, though, and I'm glad Vic has so much support. Me too. Me too. And he needs it. He needs it. Frankly, you guys supporting him, I mean, that means everything. The fact that you guys keep showing up means everything. Bad Boya says, AM was my first con and I had fun. Funny story, I took a pic of your panel and realized later you were staring directly at me. It's on Instagram. Oh, I'll have to go find it. Sounds great. Mike check. Thank you. Asia Fraser says, next time you eat a jelly bean on camera, do it slow and maliciously. Okay, I will. Title Guardian says, by the way, I'm the one who had Ty sign the blue whale pic. No, I'm aware. I remember you. Andrew War Snowboard says, I've handled family matters, but never family case. Yeah. McLaren's Crispy Bun says, we got to remember how most of these people learn the legal system from cops and or Law and Order. So for the fools out there, how embarrassing. Detective Satoshi Sokudo says, great Saturday Night Live impression. Oh, thanks, buddy. Bonnie says, hey, Nick, were you jealous of Vic's amazing pants? No. But I was jealous of his arms. Ichisinko says, pretend I'm your PR guy here for a bit. We need to counter the blackface lawyer and Screech stuff with our own nickname for you. I suggest Weeb Lawyer. Well, you can try and make it happen. I don't know. It doesn't bother me at all. Calling me Screech. Okay. Oh, the prototype for the Cuck Lightyear shirt, mug, whatever, should be available soon. I hope. The preview of it. I'll preview it when it's ready. And then that'll be fun. Goofus Maximus says, have Iago, Igor, and Renfield, etc. been revealed explicitly by the beard yet? No, I don't think so. Andrew Schaefer says, don't lie, Nick. You're not your own boss. We all know Lady Rackets is the boss. Yes, that's true. Mike Check, thanks again. Bad Dragonite says, who would win, Doomslayer or Master Chief? Doomslayer, is that Doom guy? I think he wins. I think he wins. I think Master Chief's overrated. Sakaki Onsai says, yeet. Enigma 1788 says, Nick, can I get a signal boost? Trying to get the attention of Cincinnati Comic Expo. It'd be great if they invited Vic for an appearance in September. Already tagged you on Twitter. Hashtag we want Vic. It depends on the timing. I don't know if he's available. I know HawaiiCon is in September and he'll be there. But I don't know when in September it is. I'll look for it. Yellow Flash 2 says, Jamie, lean on my car, Marky. Does she have a lien on her car? Did people find that? What's the lien for? The Artsy Tuber, thank you very much. Rando number 9 says, guys, be careful on Twitter. Apparently 13/50 posting is considered harassment and can get you suspended. F in chat from my fallen account. I don't know what's 13/50 posting. Short Round says, how do you like the fabric of the shirt? This thing is comfy, dude. And do you want some of the Rekieta Law ones for the little rackets? Hashtag fear the beard, only 17 patches left. Well, I mean, they would love it, I'm sure, but that's up to you, buddy. Talk to me in DMs or we'll figure it out. Unknown Watcher says, I hit my head and got 5 stitches in it, so I must have misheard you there for a second. Did you say Ron and Monica want a Rule 11 agreement now? Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? What did Ty offer originally? A Rule 11 agreement to do the depositions and extend the depositions, or and extend the TCPA to accommodate. What do we have now? A Rule 11 agreement to do the depositions. Well, I guess it's kind of a Rule 11 agreement. It's a request for a court order. So basically, same thing. An agreement to do the depositions to extend the deadline for the TCPA. It's exactly what was offered. And now they want confidentiality. However, that confidentiality was an or, not an and proposition. It was confidentiality over Vic's deposition, and Monica and Ron's until the TCPA was dealt with, or a promise that there would be no TCPA before all 3 were deposed. That's it. But yeah, I did say that. Tommaso Chocotaco says they want it to be confidential now. That is some clown shoes crap. Nick, can I get a how embarrassing? Yes, you can. Fluffy Side Up says, you unintentionally caused me a massive ton of pain and suffering. Can I sue? Check Twitter DMs. You could try. Dustin Fitzfar says, chicken crap law, lawyer, and defendants. Yep. Jedi Nightwing says, now we play the game of who will throw who under the bus first. I can't wait. I can't wait. It's the best drama, right? Talbot Link says, under the river, Savage with the concrete boots. Harbinger 345 says, well, I gotta go, Rackets. Getting up early tomorrow to hopefully see Fifi, B-29 bomber. Gonna be stormy, so gotta get there early. Glad to see you back. Hey, good luck, buddy. Have fun. Hopefully you get to see it. Oh, I missed this one. I missed this one. I like the Spike Man. Says, Nick, you're gonna have a lull between this fire tonight. Hearing all this, my testosterone is swole. Think you can chill for like 20 and get back into it? LMAO. We'll see. I don't know. I keep waiting for the lull and it doesn't happen. Snarkdacon DM says, the only thing I'm bummed by is that Sabbath won't get nailed for anything other than being an a-hole. We'll see. Maybe he will. Who knows? Discovery's a funny place. All right. The Artsy Tuber says, I raise a Cuba Cuba cigar in your honor, sir. Thank you. Xenosauce says, what gets me isn't just that they want confidentiality now, it's that they're trying to demand it. Yeah. It's not the best play, by the way. In And we'll see. There may be other issues with that discovery request too. Maybe. We'll have to see. Have to see what happens. The big red, I assume it'll happen soon. The big red bear says, wait a second. With things like this in Oberlin University, it sounds like maybe people can win defamation lawsuits. Digital records, eh? Yeah. Writing things down, right? Oberlin had a flyer, was passed around by their staff. At least one of them was handed out. And that's a bad statement to make. Narcticon DM says, this case is more entertaining than Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, and that show is epic. Kenneth Campos, thanks for donation. Snarkticon DM says, did you get home the way my tweet meme showed? Allow the Mars Girl Flintstones airplane. No, I did get home by Delta. Mars Girl didn't respond to my request for help. Lil Poo Poo says, I know how to get to Mars. Use Mars Girl's arms. Yep. May Fernandez says, hashtag I stand with Vic. Snarkticon DM says, rackets in diapers and glow sticks. Don't forget the pacifier. Gold chain clamped to my nipple. I hop in a one. Thank you for the donation. Says, Sakaki Onsai says, how goes Duck Dynasty? Detractors are yeeting ya. They can yeet me all day. Yes, that's correct. I did not do a trademark research on Fear the Beard. Funny. I still don't think it's valid. I haven't started the Duck Dynasty stuff yet. There's some upfront costs to it that I have to manage my personal finances to do it. So we'll keep you posted. Trust me, when it happens, I'll be talking about it. Dustin Fitzfar says, "Oh, I forgot. The orcs are the best army. No other army." I'm not gonna do an orc voice. No other army is as best as the orcs. We are the biggest and the meanest for Gork and Mork. Wah, wah. Snarkticon DM says Nick got cucked by body pillows. Oh no. No one important says Monica Durr. I want due process too. What do you think about this current hypocrisy? I think it's stupid. I think it's stupid. They put it in front of a judge, and then now they're changing their mind. They may just have to answer to a judge on it. Talbot Link says Lolicon is never a standalone in a successful case. People convicted of it had it used for character and or sentencing purposes when other materials were present. I have ties to the CBLDF. I know this one. There you go. No one important says Kick Vic. Quote, tweets as loud as any keyboard warrior. Also Kick Vic. Quote, say/do nothing at conventions. Hope you called these guys out on this. Well, yeah, there were no protests. No protesters. Remember, there's a whole organization of people that they brigade all of the guests. Heck, here's the funny thing, right? Boycott Matsuri sent Vic emails telling him not to go to Matsuri and sent Matsuri emails telling them not to host Vic. And they were the same emails, but with the names switched, right? Like the same words. So they're all very powerful behind a keyboard, but they're very chumpish in person. They never show up. Altira Mungara says drove in for your panel at Matsuri, but didn't get a chance to say hello. Hope you will be there next year. I would love to go next year. It all depends on logistics. We'll see. No one important says, how do you feel Kick Vic has the gayest of ops confirmed for their Legion of Dumb? I think it's true. I think that's true. GRP Poll says the reason I don't use Streamlabs donations is audio stops while I donate, while Super Chat still plays stream audio. That explains a lot. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Miss Meadow Kitty says BuzzFeed. YouTube lawyer says howdy, an assault hug serial assault hugger. This is why it is problematic, and a dog whistle to the white misogynist. Snarkticon DM says after Ron loses, he'll have to go back to his old job as a gimp in Pulp Fiction. Whoa. Ichicinco says, calling you a bully would be like calling a kid a bully for beating up the bullies ganging up on another kid. I call that a hero, which is what you are. Well, the only hero is Hero Hey. Grant says, have you seen Legal Eagles Captain Marvel video? Are you going to cover it? No, and probably. Solo Beverly says, Weeb stream this week or next week potentially. I've got to see. I want to do a Chad Dad Father's Day stream with Larry and Doug, maybe someone else, I'm not sure, but I really want to do that. That was the sad part of the weekend, was I did not get to spend Father's Day with my kids, and that's the reality for a lot of dads. I'm very fortunate. I get to spend a ton of time with my kids because I work from home, but not a lot of dads do. And so, you know, if I didn't get Father's Day with my kids, we can do a Father's Day stream off Father's Day, but hoping to set that up really soon. I don't know what my schedule is yet because everything was thrown off by my plane. This show was supposed to be last night. Nick Thorne says, unfortunately, can't do my regular new tire struts, the whole shebang. Sorry, my man. After next week, though. Oh, never apologize for that, man. Take care of you. Take care of you before paying me anything. Always. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Super Alfredo 64 says, hey, Nick, can a case end at discovery? A case can end at any time if you got settlement. Or if a party, you know, if a plaintiff decides to fold the case, they could do that. Or if, yeah, at discovery, sure. You know, either side makes some sort of statement that, I mean, you have to have a motion. You either have to have settlement or a motion, but yeah, you could certainly do it. Real Spider Phantom says, have you attempted contact with Lost Paws yet? You know, I feel like I've had contact with Lost Paws. I need to try again. Arcticon DM says, I would love to hear the audio when you met Vic. Is it out there? It's got to be somewhere, right? Fabled says, he basically, I'll have to check and see if it's around, but he basically said, I've never met this guy, which, yeah, again, true. Fabled says, if Funimation or Marky files a TCPA, does the discovery stay only affect them and not Real Soye? That's a hard question. It might stay all discovery. However, since this is agreed upon and scheduled, it's likely that the court would allow the discovery to continue up to what has been agreed upon. So it's hard to, I'm not sure how that works. I didn't think so, but I've gotten some counter indications. I need to probably just research it out and check, but that's a weird question. Goofus Maximus says, any idea when R2 of lawsuits go live? Nope. No idea. It's going to depend on discovery and depositions and all sorts of stuff. Thrax Media says, if Vic would ever ask you to tone it down a tiny bit with the rage-filled rants, would you be inclined to comply, or do you have a free pass? Vic has no control over my show. I've made that pretty clear. If Vic asked me to tone it down, I would consider it, but probably not. Sorry. Hope that doesn't offend anybody. But no, I'm not inclined to comply with people telling me how to do my content. I'm not. Blaine 20 says, Quickie, if Maronica wins TCPA, does that help Jamie and Funny to win theirs if filed? No. I mean, maybe. Maybe it does. But they have to each do, you know, they'll have to dismiss the case as to themselves. IRTP says 13% of the population, 50% of the crime. Oh, that's 1350. I gotcha. Fluffy Side Up says, there's a story behind my super chat. It's funny. I'm just poor. Well, Super Captain Chris says, haven't heard you say brainlet in a while. Why not? I don't know. No reason in particular. Snowbird says, gotta go. Work tomorrow. Glad you had fun at Matsuri, Nick. Thank you. Thank you. Have fun at work tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in. Snarkticon DM says, it's like Seinfeld confidentiality now. Snarkticon DM says, but 2 separate emails is like work and junk. Well, send me the one. I might respond to it. I'll try. The Big Red Bear says, oh, also, have you seen what's been happening with Cyberpunk 2077? Both sad and hilarious. Did you know everyone in Poland is racist and transphobic? I'm Polish. Yes, of course I do. Especially their game studios. Ironic. Evan Rogers says, did you see AOC's recent tweet that they are getting more unhinged? I'm getting worried. At what point are we going to fight back? I didn't see AOC's recent tweet. No. The last thing I want to do on Earth is read anything that Ocasio-Cortez wrote. So, I think that's it. Let's wrap up. I think. Is there anything else I wanted to do on stream? I don't think so. We covered Matsuri. We covered developments. We covered the documents. I showed off my stuff that I got. I think that's about it for the show. Internet Tab says, try out Mario Royale before you go to sleep. More Phoenix right when? Soon. I wanted to do it before I left for Matsuri. I really did. Mainly because the voices are so hard to remember. And I typically don't have time to like rewatch them. But one more. Cue the music. That's a good plan. For someone said I look pretty tired. I am ridiculously tired. It has been a long day, right? I slept in a chair in the airport for like an hour of uncomfortable sleep, and then I slept on the plane for 2 hours, and then I got to the airport and drove home, and then I slept for about an hour in my bed. I'm pretty beat. Austin Heartless says, no, that's not it. You have to read this. And Sakaki Onsai says, schedule for the week, anything special of note. Let's see. Schedule for the week. I don't know. Because these very recent developments on the Discovery stuff, I mean, we're talking very fresh. I think there may be some Discovery talk really soon. Because I think there might be a filing, right? We may have to cover that. I think I want to get Ty on to talk about Oberlin College. I'm not sure what day that will be. That may be this week. I want to do the Chad Dad Father's Day stream, which won't be talking about this so much. It'll just be talking about being a dad. Being a dad today. What it means to have dads. Maybe we'll talk about figurative dads. You know, people seem to be finding figurative dads all over the place. So, yeah, we'll see. I don't really know. I'm sorry. I'll try and hammer that out as soon as possible. Lydia, I've been catching up on your videos. I really enjoyed the Lady Ragged stream for 60k subs. I knew you would. It was fun to see her try the whiskey. Just because I'm not on as much on live streams doesn't mean I'm not watching. All the best. Cheers, Rekieta. Hey, thank you, Lydia. Thank you. Cheers back to you. I hope we get to see you guys again sometime. Solo Beverly says, thanks for the stream, Nick. Happy late Father's Day. And Short Round says, from one father to another, happy Father's Day. Hey, back at you, buddy. Oh, here, let me start this. Is it playing? Are we playing? We are playing. Whoa, that's loud. There we go. Yeah, Doug and Larry for the Chad Dad show. That would be the goal for Friday. That's probably the best day. But I'll see. I gotta talk to those guys, right? It's not just me. THLC says, Nick to end the show scream, Kakarot! There you go. I don't know if that was good or not. I don't know if that was what you were looking for. Yeah. All right, guys. I hate saying this. Twitch tomorrow. I really wanted to do Twitch tonight, but I am dead on my feet. I am dead on my feet. And, or in my chair. Not on my feet, I suppose. Thank you all. Everybody I met at Matsuri. If you're watching live or if you catch this later, thank you so much. It was my pleasure, and I hope to see you again soon. All right, guys. I'll see you. See you very soon. Peace. Peace.
For the ones who have passed to make the law what we are now. Oh, the guests are all planet folks from Dundee to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. Shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet. There's no one who explains the thought better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law